So today we're going to check out the new Enshrouded update that's been announced, which I'm sure we're all pretty excited for. It looks like we've got some decent content, some new additions, and some things that the community have actually asked for. So I first off just want to give props to the devs because they have given so many major updates in such a short period of time. And they are listening to the community, which a lot of development teams don't, and they don't really pump out the content as quick as these guys. So pat on the back to the devs, and we'll get into it and we'll check out what we've got here. So it looks like we've got some pretty cool stuff on the way. New farm animals, which is something that's going to give a little bit more interactivity to the base. There's some new enemies being added by the looks of things through the new snow biome, which has obviously been announced. And our NPCs in our bases won't just be standing there yelling shit at us now. So they're going to be a little bit more interactive, potentially doing a little bit of crafting for you, moving around the base and just giving you a bit more of a lively feel, which is something that the game really needed. Okay, first off, let's talk about these new farm animals. We're finally going to be able to raise animals in our bases. So it's not just about survival anymore, it's about making your base feel alive and just having a little bit more interactivity, which the game definitely needed. It's a beautiful game world and it's really well designed, but it just felt a little bit empty. Perhaps if you were playing multiplayer, not so much, but in my solo games, I definitely felt like I needed more to keep me going. A bit more of a life simmy feel, I guess. Nothing too overboard, but enough to give us more to do around the bases and feel like we're actually immersed in a world. Now, with these new animals, they haven't given a lot of details. Perhaps if we keep the animals happy, they might offer us some special perks, maybe help with crafting or give us some unique items. Obviously, in the trailer, we've got some goats, but I'm interested to know what animals you guys would like to see in the game. I'm hoping for a massive array of farm animals, to be perfectly honest, and not just farm animals, but pets and wild animals and, you know, go crazy, I guess. They will generally have to keep along the lines of fantasy a little here or there, but I wouldn't mind riding a griffin around the map, not gonna lie. Alright, let's switch it up a little bit and we'll talk about the new enemies that we've seen in the trailer. So it looks like we've got a new scavenger model using a flamethrower, which is a little bit unique and interesting. I'm not sure what challenge they're really going to add to the game, but I believe if they are part of a mob, then it's going to be a much more difficult fight because as I do, I use close range weapons, and if I'm in the middle of a bunch of enemies and one of them is a flamethrower, then obviously I'm going to have to take that into account. It might be more preferable, well, it would be, I imagine, more preferable to use ranged weapons as opposed to short range with those guys. I'd love to see weak points introduced into enemies, so potentially areas if you shoot them in the back or headshot damage, or perhaps you could shoot them in the knees and they drop to the ground, it slows them. There's all sorts of things that I guess I'd love to see, but I'm a bit of a dreamer, and although the game is already amazing, there's always things that I can ask for, but I'm just one of those people, I guess. And it looks like potentially larger dragons, or a different variety of dragons. Now, I know that in-game they're not called dragons, but that's what I call them because I'm lazy and it's easy. Fighting the dragons that exist so far, you're always better off using ranged weapons. Basically, if they get close, they're going to do a lot of damage. So I don't think anything's really going to change with that. But it's just good to see that there's more depth and detail added to the enemies. I would love to see more special abilities. I've spent a fair bit of time playing Left 4 Dead, and you've got a few different varieties of zombies that really sort of mix things up. Like you've got the hunter that will pin you down and you've got the smoker that will drag you. So I love those mechanics and I'd love to see something like that sort of implemented into the game. just to make the battles more sort of intriguing. And then obviously if you've seen my video where I didn't necessarily complain, but I definitely pointed out that I'd love to see more variety in the attacks. They're very repetitive at the moment, and I think the game could definitely use a little bit more variety. Just to switch things up, it really makes combat more intriguing and more engaging rather than just a repeated motion. So if you'd love to see that, let me know in the comments. Hopefully the devs see it and implement it in the future, I guess. You can always get onto the Enshrouded Discord as well, the official Discord, and just drop some suggestions in. The devs are always keeping an eye out, so don't be shy. Jump in the Discord and give them your opinions, give them some feedback, and hopefully they'll take it into account in their future updates. So next up is the new snow biome. They haven't showed a lot of the biome, which is a bit of a shame. I would love to be able to give a little bit more detail on what we're going to see out there, but I think it's very obvious that we're going to see snow. It looks like we've potentially got water added, which means we may have ice-covered lakes, maybe cave networks with big icicles hanging from the roofs and all sorts of things going on. So it's basically just speculation, but it looks like it's going to be a major land update, so we'll have a lot more game area to play on. Obviously this game is handmade, so it's going to have a lot of nice little details. Hopefully some new challenges. I did mention that I would like to see harder challenges. The challenges that exist at the moment in the sun temples and things like that, they don't really challenge you, and they don't really give you any negative outcome if you fail them. So I would like to see more pressure put on the player to get things right. Now, I'm also sure that they're going to add some more unique crafting items or recipes that we can only find in this area. It's all speculation at the moment, but with this development team, it is almost guaranteed. Okay, so on to the NPC interactions in your base. They've been very vague at the moment about what the NPCs will actually do, but it looks like they've just got some pathing around your base. They're going to walk around a little bit more and interact with things. They will be able to craft items for you, whether you'll be able to queue up a lot of items or not, or perhaps have them create multiple items at once. Hasn't really been shown, but it's good to see that the NPCs will be a little bit more interactive. It's definitely going to bring some more life to the game, which obviously is something that I want and something that I would like to see. One thing I definitely would like to see in the future is NPC companions and pets. Now, I'm not sure how that would work because you are farming animals. Perhaps you could farm a bunch of them and who knows, they might die in battles, they might level up, they might help you in fights, they might just be carrying mules, who knows. But definitely pets and companions is something that I would love to see. Whether they also add a pet that you can have that just is basically immortal, you know, it might die in battle, but then after 30 seconds or 60 seconds it respawns or comes back to life, maybe with a debuff for a short time or something. There's lots of possibilities. I guess it's just leaving it up to the devs to get creative and do what they want to do and listen to the community and take into account the things that the community enjoy and would like to see. And then obviously depending on how much work it is for those guys as well, because they've got a lot on their plate at the moment. But I mean, ultimately it's just exciting that we've got another major update. The game was released in January, I believe, and it's been such a short time for so much content to come out. It's actually ridiculous compared to a lot of games. I guess these guys do have a decent sized team as opposed to a lot of indie development teams, so you can't be too harsh. There's a few games out there that have single devs that pump out great content. Obviously not as often, but they listen to the community. They're much like the Enshrouded development team in that respect. So that's about it for me rambling on today, but I hope you enjoyed the video. All right, so I guess I'll call it there for this video. Thank you very much for tuning in. It's all speculation at the moment. Well, most of it's speculation, but with any luck, there's going to be plenty of detail in this update, and it's going to be enough to keep us going for a few more 100 hours. I myself have done most of the content in the game so far, so the only thing really left is getting creative and I guess discovering all the little nooks and crannies around the map. So I'm definitely excited for some more content, and I'll be making a bunch of videos on it. Make sure you like and subscribe for those, and hopefully I'll see you all again very soon.